stand behind me, come what may. I know now that I'm ready, yeah. Oh, I finally heard them say it's a different world. Ooh, and where you come from.
He said nothing is fresh is the best is. Whoever than himself he the best is impressive. I ain't rhyming any beat like I did back in 96 to beat. He in the streets earbuds. Fuck the beats and be cursing like a sailor. I so I won't be writing grander. For those they give you remember the Titans have blood like Perseus. Uncle Tom like a white man. Stay about his money. Let me in the ear like he's Tyson. And I hear he laid that guy's feet up when he rapping. And the traffic stands still. They freeze when he say action. A small fraction might walk away simply cause of distraction. But always getting back. I think it's cause I'm so attractive. The attractions in my trapping. Roll over to the masters on my Oscar de la Renta dog. Get with the classics. It's on your downfall. Make a beat to go imagine. I take a seat and relax. Scratch the beat and keep rapping.
Different world. Ooh, and where you come, different world. Ooh, and where you come, different world. Ooh, and where you come from. The city is now, yeah.
A chef on the glass, work on the plate, show my ass. Got the skills to pay the bills, but expensive taste make waste haste to your face. And baby, take this creme fresh to your face. Whoa, not like that, gotta make sure it's seasoned right. You ever served 160 within a 300C? Humanity testing your sanity. After you were dropping a hole, no light, no more fight. But that get that time, you must do the crime. After 12, we feel one, say stories to tell about going through hell. How you almost fell, how you messed up that VIP's Quinnell. This life in the kids, so you got a quick glimpse of what it means to hustle through our eye muscle. It's crazy, it's crazy. This profession's not for the lazy, cause it's a
different world. Ooh, and where you come, different world. Ooh, and where you come, different world. Ooh, and where you come from. The city is now, yeah. Here's my chance to make it. Hey, and if we fall less on our goal, you can decide, we can take care. Hey, just remember that you can too.
It's a different world, man, I'm on some different shit. 250 nowadays for a pair of kicks. I remember when James was like $130, but the rock what I got in my stock, you're unworthy. Foam posits on my feet, never laced up. Foam posits on my feet with the fresh cut. Cargos with the dope t-shirt to match. Wait a minute, hold on, let me check the back of the trunk. Pull them sixes out, feeling like Brian and Dwayne. Feeling fresh in this game like a champ. Got them Jeremy Scotts on the feet with the wings. I'm fly above means, above all. Just to get fresh like God getting these kicks. You gotta stand in line overnight, wait for these shits camp out. Had these for 3 weeks before they even came out. It's a
different world. Ooh, and where you come, different world. Ooh, and where you come, different world. Ooh, and where you come from. The city is now, yeah. Here's my chance to make it. Hey, and if we fall less on our goal, you can decide, we can take care. Hey, just remember that you can too. It's a different world. It's a different world. It's a different world. It's a different world than where you come from. Ooh, than where you come from.
Black women. I love y'all to death. But y'all gonna be the death of us black men. I'm just kidding. Hey, y'all, it's Kid Gravity. Live show back in effect. It's a new month, new year. But it seems that even though it's a new month and a new year, the same problems from previous years show up. And today we are talking about the standards of marriage, because Kevin Samuels got big. All these gurus got big. Fresh and Misfit. They catch a heat for saying what they said about black women, and black women are, they're trying to tell the whole world that they are the catch and they are the table. And I'm saying to them, I can take my table and go somewhere else. But of course, I can't do this show talking about marriage by myself. So I found me a married woman, and no, it's not the wife, because she does not want to be on camera. So I bring a friend to the show. She's been on here multiple times, and she's back again. Author, YouTuber, and now businesswoman, because we have to highlight Black business. We have to highlight it. So Tiffany Harris is back. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to let her lead the conversation, even though that'll make Black women happy that a woman's leading the man, but it's not like that. But go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? As he introduced me, my name is Tiffany Harris. I am a two-time published author. I have my own YouTube podcast. If you check my Instagram handle at Tiffy Television, then you can follow my link to my YouTube channel. And I also am a businesswoman. I am the owner and operator of the new business Tiffy Sense. So I got a lot on my plate.
Yes, ma'am. A lot on your plate. And please go to Tiffy. What is it? TiffySense.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Go there. Buy your tea candles and
Incense
and your incense and all that. Because we know how you Black women like to wash away spirits and retrograde and all that.
And they're gonna like that. I have I'm bringing the sage and all that other stuff, the smudges and all that. So if you, my spiritual people out there, I need y'all to hit me up.
Yes, ma'am. All right, let's get into it. So like I introed, ladies and gentlemen, I said that Black women want to be married, but they don't want to live up to the standards of marriage. Because we know in our community, ladies and gentlemen, the Black community, this is for all my non-Black people, we tend to want to give out wife/husband benefits for our girlfriends and boyfriends. And that's not cool, because when you actually put the ring on it, there's no elevation. There's no new standard, because it's the same old thing. So, Tiffany, how do you view marriage as a wife?
For one, in our community, it's like a healthy marriage is almost like finding a unicorn. For one, finding a marriage in our community is very rare. I actually looked at the stats from 2020 to see just how many Black children are actually raised in two-parent married houses. And we're only at like 37.9% compared to 46.5% of Black children who are raised in single-parent homes. And then with that, I feel like marriage in our community isn't really, or why marriages aren't, as you say, an elevation in our community is because there's no emphasis on what. First off, too many of us don't know the purpose of a marriage. There are a whole lot of Blacks out here just dating and getting our freak on and letting the wind blow whichever way it blows. And if it leads us down the aisle, then it leads us there, and we get there, and that's whatever. Then, as you said, the boyfriend, girlfriend, or baby mama, baby daddy is getting all the husband and wife benefits from us. So then we have nothing left to really give, in most cases, to that person that we go down the aisle with and commit ourselves to. Lastly, I would say, although marriage is a beautiful union, I don't see a whole lot in our community the emphasis on why it's necessary compared to our white, our Asian, or even other Black people from places like the whole of Africa or our Haitian, Jamaican, neighbors in their communities. We don't have the same emphasis on marriage and building the family structure as Black Americans that others do. So it seems to be no big deal to us, but the lack of understanding and the lack of preparation for that as a preservation for us as a people has come back and hurt us in more ways than one.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. But she is right, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the Black community. We don't see too many marriages. So in that sense, we don't know what it takes. We just think it's a relationship. You see the person, the same person every day, and y'all combine finances. You think that's it. When you've seen marriages and you've been inside marriages, you pick up on the subtle nuances that they don't, I want to say, verbally communicate. You're almost watching body language. And you see how a man and woman are in sync. And once you see that, then you understand This ain't no game out here, folks.
Shut up, it's not.
And y'all out here playing like it's funny, and it's not, because at the end of the day, that's how you build legacies.
Mm-hmm.
And without that legacy, you have nothing left for the next generation. And then you have that same generation running out here, not knowing what to do. There's no guidance. And they run into people like Kevin Samuels and these dating coaches who haven't necessarily also been in marriages or been divorcees. So they're giving them maybe one side or 2/3 of the argument.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not getting the full flavor. So if you can find a marriage, folks, be around that.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
See, and there's another thing. There's another concept that I don't understand, that I wanted to touch on. Now, when you brought up Kevin Samuels, you're of course referring to these movements that they have, like the high value man movement, and then the opposite side of that for women is the femininity movement, which in a nutshell, and this is my personal feelings on both of those. Studying the human potential movement of the 1960s, these are extensions of the human potential movement, but they're actually a little bit more, to me, poisonous than the human potential movement, because they got the selfishness of the human potential movement coupled with a manipulation of femininity in the femininity movement, which is what I'm going to start with, which teaches, now, if you think about it, you would think that the femininity movement is, a inward working that women are trying to get in. It's a movement catered to healing what is hurt within women, so that they themselves can be the best person that she can be. But then you get to the meat of it, and you find out that it's just a bunch of manipulation to try to woo rich men into thinking that you're the thing they desire, so that you can get in their pockets. And I kind of feel the same way about the high value man movement, which on its surface appears to be a movement where men set standards, not only for their lives and their relationships, which are good. I always emphasize that. But then you have certain individuals within those movements that take there's little pieces here that tell you, be a better man for yourself, set a standard, don't deter from it, expect more from your partners, which there's nothing wrong with any of those things. And then they manipulate those facts, and it becomes about, they take that and push it to become, emotionally manipulative, emotionally, psychologically abusive. And then it takes us down down a worse path that we started on, that actually people started on back in the 1960s with the human potential movement. So for me, those type of things, they both have good, they have a little bit of good to them, but then they have a lot of bad in them, where if you're not careful, you can get confused and mess yourself and your relationships up. But like kids said, to see a marriage and actually be in a marriage, and then to want one and not knowing what you're getting into, is two totally different things. We have too much people in our community talking about we need more marriages, build back the Black family, build this and build that. But the problem is, unlike our counterparts, like I said earlier, most Blacks have no idea what a marriage is for. We don't know the importance of building a legacy. We don't know the importance of combined finances. We don't really value the complete family structure. We fight so hard against these things that are actually meant to build the community, and it ends up taking us back to the same place. The literal definition of insanity is repeating the same action and expecting a different result. And I feel like that's what we do with regards to our families and our children and our futures as a people. And we wonder why we have a 55% poverty rate in our community. And like I said, over 46% of our kids living with just their mother, 4.5 living with just their father, 8% of our kids don't live with any of their parents. And then we have a small 3.5 that live with their parents, but the parents are not legally married. And that last 3.5% live with cohabitating non-married parents, because we've accepted this idea in our community that a marriage is just a piece of paper, that it's nothing more than that. When in reality, if you've actually gotten into a marriage and you're working in a marriage, it's a day-to-day commitment that you have to make with a partner so that you two can work together to keep something going for the sake of yourselves, your partner, and especially for your children, because the kids are the legacy from that relationship, from that marriage, that we seem to not get that though.
Yes, sir. Folk, replay that part and send it to all your favorite dating coaches and your high value men and your send it to the divestors too, because they out here tripping.
And these fake feminine manipulators too with it, because I'm telling you, like, they're all over YouTube. And I want specifically to the fellas, these girls that are claiming to want to get in touch with their femininity and soften themselves up. 9 times out of 10, they're gold diggers looking to manipulate and get in the pockets of rich men. That's it. Because as soon as their movement starts to talk about, as soon as their coaches start to speak about a woman individually looking into herself to fix what she needs to fix within herself, she is pushed by her base to, well, teach me how to get a man. Teach me how to get a high value man. Teach me how to get a man making 6 figures or more. And that becomes, that mindset has hijacked that movement. So those girls, they can get it too.
She said it. I'm going to say something y'all don't like. Y'all care more about the wedding than the actual marriage.
Yes.
Get mad at me or what you want. I don't care. I don't care. I said it. Y'all care about the wedding and the baby showers. Y'all do not care about the day-to-day functions of a marriage, and you don't care about your kids. And y'all can cut that out and cancel me. I could care less.
Oh yeah.
I said what I said.
You know what? But speaking of the marriages, the wedding ceremonies, first off, as I remember planning for my wedding and actually starting to look into, because for some reason, everything that I do takes me back to, wanting to learn the history of what we do and why we do it. Mm-hmm. So I started to figure out, first off, wedding ceremonies, like these high blowout ceremonies that a lot of girls want, those were something that only the wealthy in society used to put on, like Queen Victoria, the same woman who is the reason why we wear the white dress. We found out that wasn't about purity, years ago. It was, white linen cloth, or white cloths, especially white silk and things like that, which is what she wore, was a more or less a standard of wealth than it was about purity and all that. Well, it was the same thing for the wedding ceremony. So I literally decided that I didn't want a big wedding. Well, we've decided that before anyway. We wanted a small, intimate, just us and the people closest to us and whatnot. But these big drawn out showers, y'all be going broke and going into debt trying to put on a show and what is sadly, statistically speaking, those people that have those large, expensive weddings are the first people to divorce. So you're cutting into your marriage and your marital finances and putting a nail in the coffin of your marriage for a one-day party and then not nurturing the marriage once you have it.
So wait, they can't have the smoke machine? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if you can afford it, but are you going to smoke machine? Are you going to nurture your marriage thereafter? As soon as are you going to pour that much intention into your marriage after? Are you going to do what people back in the 50s and the 60s did before we evolved to this modern post marriage culture and this individualized culture? Are you going to be determined to be a companion to your spouse instead of just being a problem and sitting there nagging, and ladies beating your husbands over the head, talking about happy wife, happy life, and all that cliche crap, making somebody miserable? Are you willing to do that? Because if you're not, then you don't even need to walk down the aisle. You're just selfish. You want attention. You don't really want the marriage.
You wait, say that quote one more time. Happy wife, happy
life. Yeah.
Who told you that? Because a wife can be happy with money in her pocket, but that ain't no happy life for me.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Those are the same women that go around quoting that to their husbands are the ones that are making their husbands miserable. Like that's their happy wife, happy life, to try to manipulate and get their way all the time. When first off, if you don't enter a marriage understanding that it's about compromise, that sometimes you're not going to get your way, that's fine. That you're going to have to meet your spouse halfway and confront your problems together with that person. Put your egos aside, learn when to apologize when you're wrong, admit that you're wrong. If you can't do those simple things, you don't need to be married to somebody, because the only thing you're going to be is a headache to that person until they decide that they're going to get tired of you and just get rid of you. And you can't blame them.
She said it. See, I'm here with Tiffany Harris. I'm gonna let the woman say all this because y'all can't come back on me and say that I'm the one that said it.
And I
Remember
don't
what
care.
I told? Remember, y'all heard it at the beginning. I said the opinions of this show are of those on the show, and if you don't like it, we don't care.
They can come. They can Instagram and DM me. My opinions don't change. Like
Yeah,
my mother raised me.
and you
with my
weirdo
guns.
fellas, just because she talking right and she look cute, don't do that. She will cuss you out in there. I've seen them. I've seen the messages, and it might be her husband too. Her husband might
Yeah.
act like her one day, and then you know,
They don't want. They don't want that. They don't want that problem from him.
I know they don't. I don't know where the bodies are in West Virginia, but just know there was somebody. But anyway,
there are too many hills out here, and too many people get away with stuff out here.
All right, we're not dry snitching. Anyway, let's continue, folks. So, as Tiffany and I were researching this particular topic, and it must have been what they call it. All right, for you black folks, divine intervention. A channel that I frequent on YouTube, the Book of Obsidian Radio. Sorry, he put up a community post with this particular article, and I shared it to Tiffany, and she saw it. And she was like, "Yeah, we got to talk about this." So I'm gonna share this, folks. We're gonna do a little reading, folks. So y'all on the audio, you're gonna hear my sweet voice read for this. I'm not going to read the whole article. It's just a certain excerpt that I wrote that I saw that we got to talk about this. So for those on YouTube, I shared the screen. For those on the audio, y'all just going to listen. So this article was called, "Why is it so hard for Black women to find the love they deserve?" And it's from two Black women who became dating coaches after quitting corporate jobs. Okay, whatever. This section of the interview that they did actually struck me very, very vividly. So whoever they were interviewed by asked, "Do you feel Black women and men are too particular when it comes to potential dating candidates?" So the first one, Ms. Fisher, said, "We found that as opposed to the white clients that we've had, Black women are usually looking for physical attributes first. We look for someone who is attractive to us, and then we pick up on his hobbies, interests, and values. Whereas white clients are looking for the reverse first. What kind of job does he have? Is he going to be able to provide? Then they circle back." The other Black woman, Miss Gilmore, said, "We're the first ones to look at men's bodies and how attractive they are, whereas our white clients have a long list of requirements of things like character and integrity." And then Fisher chimed in and said, "And then down the line, it backfires for us because you were never a compatible mix to start with."
Mm-hmm.
For them to admit that this is white women's criteria and to see the rates that Tiffany illustrated a few minutes ago, you just want to put your head down, folks. It's not that hard. I don't know how many times we got to say, but everybody's beauty changes as you get older. You're not going to look like how you look from 20 to 40. And don't give me that crap about black don't crack, because I seen some of y'all shattered. We're not going to go there. Not today. But
black cracks smoke it.
Listen, I seen some of them look like there was a joke there that was going to be offensive. I'm not going to say it. But when in reading this excerpt, the fact that your number one criteria is how your man gonna look, because you want to equate that to how your kids are gonna look. Mm-hmm. Who cares? Who wants a pretty dumb person when you can have a not so pretty smart person? Mm-hmm. Or someone that can play sports exceptionally well? Now, if you could get a combination of both, that's even better. But you have to make sure your legacy has a good starting point. And the fact that they said it's looks first and then we'll pick up on his hobbies. Huh? Mm-hmm. Huh? You're supposed to figure out where you two vibe at first. Like if you both like to go fishing, why are you not trying to cultivate that?
Mm-hmm.
If you two are into cars, why are you two not cultivating that? Why are you worried about how this person looks? Like for us, I'm sorry, I'm going to offend black women. Black women, as black men, we don't really necessarily care how you look. We really don't. Because you can go Google images of black couples, you can find two people that are beautifully in shape. They look like they were sculpted out of Mount Kilimanjaro. And you can also find two overly obese fat people, but they in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there was something there that attracted both of them besides the looks. But I have to give these two credit for putting that out there, that it's about looks for black women, because a lot of them lie and say that it's not about looks. They try to put it on us black men. And we'll marry a bald-headed chick. We'll do it. We'll marry a woman that wears like 865 different kind of weave. We'll do it as long as she's good to us. But y'all want the Idris Elbas and Michael Ealy's and all these dudes first, but then y'all find out they scumbags. Allegedly, they say Michael Ealy's a scumbag. Allegedly. I don't know. Shout out to that brother. But Tiffany, this is on you. How do you feel about what these two black women have said?
Well, I can't disagree. They've got the proof in front of you, but also because I can't disagree because I've seen this in my own family. Okay. Not enough of us tend to think about what a man wants when he approaches you. Does he want, is he looking for a future? Is he looking for a family, or is he just, looking to add notches to his belt? And there are too many black women that look for, especially in my area, the good hair, because they want their kids to have good hair. And then, of course, there's that color complexion thing that a lot of us do. We want the light skinned man so we can have light skinned babies, or we want dark skinned man so we got. It's the stupidest requirements for the dumbest reasons. But then, like she says here, do black women have realistic dating pool expectations where you want more from them men than you have to give them, where you want them 6'4" with PhD, never married, no children, in his late 30s to early 40s, and has all this money. And then when you are demanding all of this, but then what you have to offer him is nowhere near the same. And I feel like the ones with the loudest and the most unrealistic requirements are usually the ones that have 2-3 baby daddies, bad credit, and no hopes of a future whatsoever. And furthermore, we don't know how to date. And I'm not the only black woman on the internet that's saying this. There have been black women that have gotten on every platform from Instagram to YouTube to TikTok to Facebook saying simply, we just don't know how to date as a race of women. We don't know what it's for. We don't know why. We get in relationships, too many of us, and don't know why we're there. Some girls get in relationships because they're bored. Some girls go on a date with a man for a free meal. Some women just, we have to ask ourselves what we really want out of these men before we start setting expectations and making sure what you want is realistic. Have a life goal. What are his life goals? Think about things that actually matter. What are his life goals? What are yours? Are you guys compatible in morals and level of integrity, characteristics, things that my father taught me about men? And he said that the race of and the color of his skin doesn't matter. Forget all that. There are 6 things you should look for in a man, and there should be his characters, his integrity, his principles, his morals, his intentions, and his plans. Those are the things that you should be looking for in a man. That's what my father taught me. Now, not enough black women have been taught that. So then they fall into this scheme when they're this pattern when they're grown, where the first thing that looks pleasing to me, I'll just run into his arms, and it comes back like these women said and bites him in the behind every time. I've seen that take place over and over and over again with women that I knew from my old neighborhood, and they're still running around now because we're in our 30s now. We're not that young anymore. And they're running around out here just reaching grabbing for something, anything or anyone, because they don't want to be alone simply, but then they don't know what makes a good man or what how to pick and choose from a good man and a bad one. They're just continuing to lead with the eyes and what pleases them, and they won't change that habit there, but then they keep beating their head into the same wall with when the consequences come back the same.
Mm. Mm. That's what's up. Tell your truth, ladies and gentlemen. Some of y'all just looking for y'all just looking for a glass of Hennessy. Just admit it.
I've had girls tell me that and this was in my teen years, okay? I knew a girl that said that she wanted a baby by a man of every race except black because she wanted babies with good hair. That was it. Yeah.
Shout out to the divestors. Y'all can go straight to hell. Anyway, let's continue.
So then you go and after this, you go and you have the issue of availability. And that's something I definitely wanted to talk about, but I'll let you, because it sounded like I cut you off there.
No. I when you said that she wanted to race air, I just acted like I was frozen because I was like, here we go again. We got another divester who going.
But white and Asian men in my state wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. There are those that would date black girls.
You know what it is?
She wasn't one of the ones they wanted.
It's a way to mess the game up. I said it. She messed it up when she wrote in her book that black women and Asian men should just get together, even though then she lied later and said it was a joke. But she married a man that was black and Asian. But
the thing is, Asian men are not going to date a ghetto woman. Like they'll date black women, but if you ever see a black man, or I'm sorry, a black woman with an Asian man, they're women. That's a totally different black woman from the hood chicks that fight each other for hair weave down at the local weave store.
Facts. I wish I had the video of old boy fighting with his baby mama, his black baby mama in outside of Penn Station. I wish I had that video queued up. That was disturbing.
Oh my goodness!
But we're not gonna do that. Not today. We're gonna save that for Black History Month. Anyway,
say that for next month.
Oh, we're gonna save that for Black History Month. Oh, because we know that's gonna be another show probably later. How they're churning Black History Month into Asian History Month. But y'all not ready for that conversation. But we're gonna say that later. Today, this is about black love. This is what it's about. Guess what else I found? I found another article. Essence was trying it back in the late 2010s. They were trying it. So this particular article we just read came out in 2015, I believe. This one came out in 2017, right? Of course, they don't put the date. Oh, 2020. Updated for 2020. We gonna share this one, folks, because y'all got to see this. Now, this was the same two chicks again. I guess this is like their resident dating coaches or matchmakers. They call themselves matchmakers. So this one is called "Listen Up, Fellas." Black women tell, what is it? Black women list their biggest dating pet peeves.
Oh goodness.
So number one pet peeve black women have: consistency. Now they try to be funny, invoking Aretha Franklin. So they said CONSISTENCY. Find out what it means to me. Y and me don't rhyme together. So somebody was trying to be funny, but whatever. So it says, quote, "One of my biggest pet peeves about dating is inconsistency. You meet someone, you're feeling each other, go out on a few dates and enjoy getting to know each other. Then suddenly everything slows down. Calls and texts get fewer, you start overthinking, and the pattern repeats. You begin to not trust the good times, thinking that bad times are right around the corner. Consistency matters. Call when you say you will. Show up when we agreed. The only thing consistent these days is inconsistency." And this is from a 47-year-old corporate trainer. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Well, here's the thing. And I hate to tell women this, but by 47, there are not a lot of men out there looking for a single 47-year-olds. Um,
Yes.
my husband actually admitted, like my husband is a few years older than me, and he admitted that he did not want a woman his age because a lot of the girls that he would look around and see around him, they were pretty much ran through.
Mm.
And I don't know how that plays over with men where they just I don't I'm not going to try to go deep into that, but I don't know. I know that men are usually attracted to women that are younger than them. 47 and single, that I think that maybe is a red flag.
Mhm.
And then something that happens on that date, because it sounds a little bit demanding of your time. Like if a person is really into you, you're not going to have to demand that they call you when to get to talk to them. You're not going to have to demand consistency. That's going to be one of those things that they actually give you willingly and freely because they're going to free up time to be with you. The problem is too many of us aren't willing to be patient, and if we are patient, then we're patient for the wrong people. Okay. But at the same time, we need to learn you can have a standard, but also believe what men do, and rather than what you want them to. So if he starts calling less and less, either he a couple of things, or he could be busy because grown people have jobs and careers and things to tend to, or during something happened during the course of you all talking, and he just decided he doesn't really like you like that.
Mm.
Maybe you should be moving on. Like, leave that man alone. Stop following him around, harassing him. Understand that silence is an answer too, and go.
Mhm. Would you like to laugh real fast?
I do.
Okay, because I know this is a little serious subject, but
I'm looking for somebody.
shout out to
Oh
Miss
God,
Shalakemia Moffat. Shout out to her. I got to bring her back on the show.
what's going on, girl? Because I know she's gonna see that. I'm sitting there looking at the video. I feel like this is gonna be. She drags these women all the time on her page.
Of course she does. Now, because we just talked to a 47-year-old corporate trainer saying inconsistency. Now, I just want to say this is not a good representation of Atlanta. I hope not. I only been down here for about a year.
I heard Atlanta's messy.
Okay, she said it, not me. But black folk, we got to do better. I hope she was trolling, but I think she was trolling because she said multi-thousandaire. So I think she was trolling, but y'all got to hear what she said, folks. Tiffany, you got to really listen to what she said. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
Body to fall, matching short set, in love with me.
Matching short set. Hold on, all I heard about was matching pajamas at Christmas. I never heard nothing about matching short set. Let me get Babe on this phone because you know what? I'm not even about to play with him today. Hello, Babe. Why don't we wear matching short sets though? People out here doing that. Why don't we do it though? I feel like you don't love me.
That's why I follow her, because she just helps you understand how ridiculous these women are with this stuff.
Black women, what is matching short set? Y'all got. I know the vernacular of our people evolve every 7 hours, but what is matching short set? What does that mean?
I'm gonna tell you what
I'm finna take this woman off the screen because I can't look at this face no more. What is she talking about?
I will attempt to explain. What she's trying to emphasize is that she wants that. It used to be something that, to my understanding, that old school married couples would do. Like, they would go out in public and they would dress and they would wear outfits like at least the same color so that you knew they were together. Not aside from knowing that, if you ask them, they got wedding rings and things like that. You would have couples that would dress up in the same color outfits. Like if he got on a black suit, she wears a black dress on a date. And sometimes, I guess, it would pour over into like casual clothing, but as far as I know, it was like couples matching in public settings. Just they did that for some reason, I guess. I guess that's what she's talking about. But I mean,
I guess I don't know.
That's not like really a requirement. Like I've never gotten upset with my husband because we didn't go out and matching suits. So I that's all I can think of. And we lost Kid for the moment. Let's see. But anyway, while Kid is gone, we y'all can tell you try to tell me what that is because I don't know.
Hello?
There you are.
I don't know what I did. I have two people now. And it's echoing. I don't know what I did. Can you just continue talking?
Yeah.
Let me try to fix this.
But you know what? And that's another thing that pours into our relationships that causes Black women to come up short in the areas of marriage is we don't set like realistic standards for our relationships. They're either too off the wall silly like that, or they are we base our standards in fantasies, and it's something that's pulled out of your favorite reality television show. For instance, I don't know why this is being promoted on TikTok, but there was this guy, and I wish I had the video up, but I don't. And I'm still kind of learning how to work TikTok because I'm not on there like that. That said something along the lines of, ladies, if you're going out on a date with a man, mind you, this is first date, and he's not willing to pay for your nails to get done, don't go on that date.
I saw that.
And his videos get worse from there. Now he's one of these loudmouth, I guess dating coaches or whatever they call themselves that are trying to get, they're trying to drill in women's heads. Oh, it's the man's job to provide. Okay, we all know the standard, but the standard is provide for a wife, not a girlfriend he just met. There's no reason you should be asking a man to pay for you to go get your nails done before you come on the date you agreed to go to, and it's the first time you're going out with this person. So then he goes on another video and encourages men to forget taking her to dinner and movies. Oh, that's whatever. If you really want to go out with this woman, take her out of the country on vacation. I'm like,
I saw that too.
Where are we getting all this simping from? Like,
she said it.
I mean, that makes no sense. And he got roasted by someone stitched his video and roasted him, saying, if you pay for what, then just say that, because that's really what you're doing. You're paying. You're
paying a prostitute.
Right, like and that's another problem that's another thing that is wrong with modern relationships is that they've become pimp prostitute relationships. Women have conditioned themselves to judge a man not by his credentials, like his character or anything like that, but to see they're no longer trying to test men to see if they actually are not testing, but dating men to see if they have the credentials that would make a good husband or a future partner. They just want to get in his pockets as fast as they can, as soon as they can, get as much as they can out of this man and see for how long it lasts. It's basically, like you said, paying a price. It's you have more or less, dating is more like an escort John relationship than it is an actual romantic relationship nowadays.
I mean, unless you want me to cosplay as a pimp named Slickback, I mean, we get that done. I can find that suit on Amazon easily. Black women, y'all gotta do better. Y'all gonna put me back in my old bag, back from like season 2 and all that. When I see articles like this, it hurts me because I want to see y'all win, but y'all got to get out of your own way sometimes. It's okay. It's okay. Humble yourselves. And then speaking of which, you've seen those quotes like black women shouldn't accept less and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta say something about that. While it's true you should not accept less, if you don't legitimately know what you want, how do you know it's less?
Exactly. But
y'all not ready for that conversation.
That goes back to what I said earlier when I said most of us don't even know how to date. We don't know what dating is for. It's just These, especially these girls nowadays, they just think dating is gaming men for money and trips and material crap, and then I don't know what happens from there. Like, there's no actual plan. You don't get to know this person. You don't sit down and talk to them to understand who they are or what they're about, and if they actually make if you guys are compatible or not. It's just all about what they can get out of a person. It's really just it's prostitution.
Oh Lord. Okay, folks, I went further down on this article called Listen, Black Men, these are Black women's worst dating pet peeves. Okay. This one says, on the first few dates, yes, I expect you to pay for us to go out somewhere. Our first date isn't going to be me cooking for you at my place and you expecting sex afterward. At that point, I don't even know you yet. On top of that, requesting a meal at my place means I'll be paying for the meal and cooking it. For what? This isn't a marriage.
Okay.
Some of y'all don't even do it in a marriage. I expect you to pay and for us to go out somewhere.
Here's
what?
Oh, goodness gracious! Again,
okay, but here it is. What if I say, okay, let's go to music, let's go to the park, go look at some flowers, and I'm fixing to bring a picnic lunch. I done paid for it already, but because you don't see a receipt, I technically didn't pay for it. I'm trying to understand. Our first date isn't going to be me cooking for you at my place. Number one, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, but there was something that he saw in you that he allowed you to say that. See, okay, I'm going to lose my black card, my black male card a little bit on this, but us as Black men, we can pick up on certain things on how a female's history is. She may not necessarily tell you up front, but we can gauge things. We can tell who hasn't ever dated in life, and we know who's been ran through. We can pick up that you've had men over in your house on the first date. We can pick this up. Subtle body language is a MFer. The fact that she went on this thing, and she's a 34-year-old nurse, the fact she went on here and said this lets me know she's done this before. And it didn't go well. Or she knows enough people where this has happened and it didn't go well. So this is her defense mechanism. But we know if the dude had six-pack abs and he was looking good, you would bring this man home and make him breakfast. We know this. But yeah.
Another problem here, this is what happens when you're not taught dating etiquette. Okay. Proper dating etiquette says that, whoever initiates the date, therefore makes the plans and pays. But at the same time, there's an expectation on the one who is invited not to go and spend up the person who invited them or their date's money. Now, what this kind of language shows is the exact thing that repels men, which is like this over aggressive kind of masculinated dominance that persistently leads us to be single. I can understand not wanting to bring a man home on the first date because that could pose a danger to you as an individual, and you do have to think about that as a woman. Like, well, what would a date mean to him? But like you said, at the same time, you could go out with a picnic basket somewhere in the park, and that's a date too. The overemphasis of "buy me" is part of is a huge problem in modern dating culture now with women, and it's this idea that if a man wants me, he's going to have to constantly spend money to make these purchases to get close to me, and therefore, that's where that prostitute type of mentality comes in. If you want to be courted, there's a difference between being courted and taken out on a date, and then setting the expectation that someone is supposed to buy you as you're basically making yourself a hooker. But like you said, Why would a man expect you to open the door to him on the first to your house on the first date? That says a lot about maybe the type of men that you're giving your time to and entertaining as well.
May
I
I
don't
say it?
know. Yeah.
This is not for colored girls. Please don't put that on us. Don't do this. This is not going to be that scene for colored girls. I think that messed a lot of females up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's reverse it on y'all. How about y'all stop lying? How Chris Rock said it, men lie the most, women tell the biggest lies.
Mm-hmm.
She was lying through that whole paragraph, but it's okay. Because guess what else I found, folks? I found another one. Now, this one is highly ironic, but the title is Just Tell the Truth. So you already think, okay, you know what? Maybe somebody gonna make some sense. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the age-old complaint we have about men lying. It seems like it's their immediate go-to when their back is against the wall or when they suspect it might get them the answer they're looking for. Here's the truth, fellas. Lying never ends well. Sometimes you end up having to tell more lies to cover up the first one. At some point, it comes back to bite you. If anything, I would just say go for the truth and let the chips fall where they may. In the end, you will get more respect. From a 47-year-old attorney whose main job in life is to lie. We not even. I'm going to say this again. This paragraph came from a 47-year-old attorney whose main job in life is to lie for money.
Oh, man.
Are you serious? If a dude told you the truth, you will not respect him. I'm sorry to say it, folks. I know a lot of people want to lie on here and on social media and say, just keep it 100 with me. Most people want to be lied to because it makes them feel better because they're afraid to confront the truth. Every person on this earth lies. Whether you verbally lie or you wear makeup, you lie. I'm sorry to say it. Y'all were caping for Miss Alicia Keys when she did no makeup. She wore makeup before, though, folks. So she's a liar. Your favorite celebrity lies to you every day. Yes, men lie. We lie out of necessity. Because a lot of us were not taught accountability, folks. Women should not be lying. Because once you lie as a woman, your backlash is going to be way worse than a man's. A man can fight his backlash. You can't. Let me go up to a woman and say, hey, listen, I got a wife at home and a daughter. I just think you cute. I just want to be with you. I just want to take you out. You think I'm going to get that far?
I don't know. Nowadays you got some girls that like the thought of married men, and I don't ask why, because the instability that comes along with that. Like they hold out on this hope that he'll leave his wife for me and he'll fall so like he falls so in love with me, he can't be without me. That crap. You have a lot of that going around now. So,
but in this modern era, do you think I would get that far?
Honestly, it depends on the woman. Yes, you would. Yeah. The same values and the principles that people used to have. Like, it used to be a thing where women despise the thought of being with another woman's man. Nowadays, they think it's cute. Especially like in my city, these single chicks, their favorite thing is somebody else's man.
Ain't much going on down there in West Virginia, right?
There's some stuff going on down here.
I ain't saying no more. All right. Recognize my strength. I'm not even going to read that. If you expect it reflected, that sounds like some Christian stuff. I'm not gonna read that. And that's their picture. Okay, so we've really just black people, no, black women, no. There are standards for marriage. But before we talk about that, I have one more piece of literature that would be perfect for this. Now, number one, ABC ain't ish for this. This came out 13 years, folks. We got the video. They came down to Atlanta and interviewed 4 or 5 black women, career black women, who were looking for love. They brought out the statistics, folks. Number one, the presenter of the segment was smirking the whole time. I think she was laughing, but I'm not going to go there. And she was white. But when you hear this, folks, it's about 7 minutes. When you hear this, Tiffany, I want you to take notes because I want your thoughts about this because these are all black women. And a special guest showed up. So for those on the video, you will see who the special guest is. For those on the audio, you'll hear the special guest near the end. So let's get into it. Oh yeah, fair use. Fair use. Copyright Disclaimer Act of 1976 and all that jazz. So don't tell me I can't monetize this video when I get to 1,000. But here we go.
That question.
Birthday! Cheers. Make a wish.
Nicole Marchand is celebrating another birthday. At 31, she's accomplished a lot. She's a prosecuting attorney and running for state court judge.
It'll be a $500 fine.
Nicole isn't the kind of woman you'd find standing by on the sidelines of life. But you would find her here, at the Georgia Dome, cheering on the Atlanta Falcons. You've heard of a man's man. Nicole is the quintessential man's woman. She appears to have it all, and yet she's still single. 42% of black women have never been married. That's double the number of never married white women.
I look forward to the day. I look forward to being married.
It's just not that easy. For starters, there are more black women than black men. 1.8 million more. So even if every black man in America married a black woman today, 1 out of 12 still wouldn't make it down the aisle. Let's take 100 black men. If you eliminate those without a high school diploma, those without a job, and the number of black men between the ages of 25 and 34 who are incarcerated, that leaves only about half of black men eligible to pop the question. Nicole sees the problem every day.
It is sad to see that the majority of the defendants that we prosecute are black males. Those numbers can be very disappointing.
Admittedly, the selection of men is slim.
Get it through your head. You're the Friday girl that's just for sex. That's what you are.
We broached this serious dilemma with comedian turned relationship guru Steve Harvey, author of the book Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
There are still a lot of good men out there who are being overlooked.
Harvey says black women don't have to settle, but may need to compromise.
You a corporate exec? Does he have to be a corporate exec? You make $150,000 a year. He has to make $150,000 or above? That's your requirement? If your requirement sheet is ridiculous, you have to look at it.
What we looked at were the large numbers of professional black women who groomed themselves for success with BAs, MDs, and JDs. 70% of them are still without the more elusive title, MRS.
I would be lying if I said that I don't have fleeting thoughts of, okay, I'm 32, my clock is ticking.
The tick-tock of the biological clock is getting louder for several of Nicole's single friends. Meet Chateau Waters. She's a 32-year-old high school counselor pursuing a doctorate degree in psychology.
We have this thing called the black girl curse. A lot of our white friends are married by 25, like happily married. Kids by 27, and we're like, what is the deal with the BGs? You know, and it's the black girls.
Jaqueen Ashford is a chemist for a pharmaceutical company. Now that she's 34, she's lowered the bar when it comes to height requirements.
I don't have a certain criteria, like if you're not 6'5", and I used to, but then as I got older, I said, okay, well maybe if you're 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", okay, maybe we could see eye to eye. I kind of have certain standards that I hold myself to, and I don't feel like I should have to settle on those for the sake of having somebody. I'm willing to wait.
Like many black men, she's also open to dating outside her race. In fact, in the past decade, the number of black women entering interracial marriage has more than doubled.
In fact, last night, was at a restaurant, had a great conversation with this Caucasian gentleman. I mean, we were vibing, we were clicking. I'm thinking, he's gonna ask for my number. White men never ask for my number. And he was like, all right, well, great conversation, you know, maybe I'll see you around. And I was thinking, what happened?
Asked for his.
No.
Bossy black girl.
We're maybe not as coveted as black men in society.
Melinda Watson is a 28-year-old payroll specialist. She hasn't had an exclusive relationship since college.
I just feel that there's a lot of taboo associated with dating black women because I don't think they're necessarily going to want to take us home to see mama.
The consensus in this group was that their preference is to marry a black man. It's not that they can't find one to date. The issue in many cases is exclusivity.
You meet these great guys, you have good relationship, good rapport, and then it's almost like, I'm gonna keep you around and hopefully when I'm ready to settle down, you'll be there.
That's the back pocket girl.
The back pocket girl.
And every now and then they'll check in with you to make sure you're still single.
You're not married yet, are you still single? You still waiting on me? No, not really.
Chateau hasn't been in a committed relationship in more than a decade.
If you have 4 quality women that you're dating and, you know, they're in rotation, I mean, who's gonna rush into a marriage?
We decided to ask Mr. Harvey for advice. He listened as we asked our single ladies about their requirements.
I had a list of about 50 things that I would keep in my Bible. It's now down to about 10.
Honesty,
supportive, financially stable.
Now, granted, I'm 31, so he needs to be at a certain stage. What do you consider a deal breaker?
If there's not that initial chemistry, it's never gonna work. I don't care if you have every quality on my list.
I'm not gonna talk to you if I'm not attracted to you.
Right.
Are they asking too much?
So maybe it's just that we want it all.
Single ladies, throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. How y'all doing?
His initial reaction?
All y'all fine. Hell, who don't want to go out with y'all? Men my age have made a mistake in that we didn't teach the generation behind us the principles of manhood. There are so many African American men missing, absent in the family.
His advice? Go for the older man.
You have a biological clock. We don't.
While these women look forward to settling down, they're not willing to settle.
The one thing that I can't control is a man choosing to marry me, and so I choose not to worry about it.
Being that I've waited so long, I can't settle now. It's not an option for me.
I would love to be in a relationship, a marriage, but I don't feel that that defines me. So if I don't find the perfect person for me, then I'll just remain single.
I'm Lindsay Davis for Nightline in Atlanta, Georgia.
Black women. Yeah. That was a lot to unpack, folks. Let's start it here. Folk, I appreciate their honesty, number one. I do appreciate that. But we're not gonna do this today. We're all about, see, one thing in a marriage you have to teach and you have to always adhere to is the truth. I swear to God, folks. These women, I hope they're all married by now, because again, this was 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Folk, if they're still not married, then it's them. It ain't us. Because we stepped our game up in them 12 years. Black men have made more strides than any other group in this country over the past 12 years. But of course, they're not going to tell you that. Number two, whoever was doing the narration, you can literally hear them trying not to laugh while they were reading that script. And you could hear the condescending tone in it, but that's another subject for another day. Shout out to white people and white supremacy. Shout out to them. There's so much. Tiffany, go ahead. There's so much.
Okay, a couple of things here. First off, the one thing that we need and I'm talking specifically about Black women, to tackle in order to improve our chances of not only securing marriages, not just marriages, but healthy marriages. First, like the one girl said, there's taboo around dating Black women. We need to do something about our public image as Black women. Ever since going all the way back, since we like to bring up slavery and whatnot, our reputation from the plantation on has really not changed. We've got this attitude of being combative. There's the Jezebel Black woman stereotype we have to look at, where we're
succubus.
Exactly, we're viewed as the succubus. We are we're sexually immoral, sexually deviant, so sexually aggressive that we are predatory and predatorily threatening to white men.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Mama Jones.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Shout out to Mama Jones.
I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that, but hold on.
Yes.
We do got to get into that, and we got to get into something else. So then we have to work on our public image, get rid of all these things. We have to show the world that we are not the things that that the stereotypes that have been created about us say that we are. Now, how do we do that? Firstly, we got to look at ourselves, understand that we are not always right. We have faults of our own that we need to individually work on. And when we decide to go on these girls' retreats, instead of going on girls' retreats out of the country to avoid white people, maybe we need to go on to a girls' retreat to a therapist office and figure out why we are the way that we are, some of us. Two, when it comes to standards, you just sat there and heard that woman confirm that most of her standards for men had to do with what they look like, their height, their body's type, and all that other stuff. And it's nice to have an attractive partner, don't get me wrong, but why do we care so much about the height of a man when we don't look at what kind of person he is? We don't look for his morals and things like that. Like, I actually had this discussion on Facebook. There was this girl, Tanya TKO, that was going off about one of Kevin Samuel's videos where he was telling a girl that was like 36 and single and wanted a man making over 100K a year that it wasn't going to happen for her. Mm-hmm. And so in the comments section, there was a separate discussion going on. And I got up and I remember asking, why, what happened to the days when women would look for a man based on his character, integrity, principles, morals, and things like that? Why are so many women solely focused on men with money and men over 6 feet? And I got a bunch of answers to it, but answers that really didn't make any sense. A lot of people chimed well, it's a man's job to provide and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but that's after marriage. That's not in the course of you dating. While you're dating, you're supposed to be woman enough to finance yourself. And how are you going to make demands for him to support your lifestyle or a lifestyle that you dream of when you don't even have the means to support that lifestyle yourself? So then that goes back to what the woman was saying about, she's an executive and she wants somebody making such and such amount, like X amount of money. Well, here's the thing. One thing I've noticed about a lot of Black women is that we go to college, and it was actually said like this before, where it said that Black women go to college to prove that they don't need a man, where other races of women go to college to get and find a husband. And that's coming back to bite us in the rear end, as you can see with these women, where they're going and actually doing the masculine thing of trying to establish the career and build up build themselves up financially. And then they're doubling back to try to find the men, and the men that they wanted are already taken by somebody else. So now your options are already less than. You look at the statistics about the availability of Black men. First off, they're only 7% of the population in the United States of America. And then you have to deal with those that are lacking in education, those that are incarcerated, those that are caught up in various things from gang activity and whatnot, to that small percentage that are actually going to build themselves up. And then you have to pick and choose from them. Well, if you have ignored all of these men while you were in the midst of building up yourself financially, and then you're doubling back. You're going to double back to find out that those same guys that you ignored in the first place are gone, and they already have wives and children and families of their own. So then you're stuck in a place where you're either going to remain single and continue to try to hunt for that man, wishing that you had caught one when you could, or you're going to end up being a side chick. And those are the two options that you have.
But the side chicks be winning now. Son, the side chick gets the avocado on her burrito.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, but why would you want to have a piece of a man when you can have a whole one?
Because you can't deal with a whole, because these chicks out here don't know how to deal with a whole man.
Then they don't need to really be trying to get with one then.
But
like,
that's why they in Atlanta, because they could be with.
Oh man. Okay. But
listen, you know how many corporate chicks live down here that have kids but no man?
That's another, and that's exactly how you end up in that situation too. That side chick stuff result, a lot of that I'm corporate and financially successful, but I got all these kids with no daddy. Part of that is the problem. You're playing side chick to a man that's he's going home to someone else at the end of the night. Now, whether what's going on in their house and whatnot, that's still not gonna make him leave her for you. And there's always they hold out that hope too, being stupid. Oh, he'll leave her for me one day. Oh, well, he's staying because they have a million excuses. Oh, he's staying with her for the kids. When the kids grow up, blah, blah. Actually, I had a neighbor that happened to. She was married, she wasn't married. Her boyfriend was married, had a wife, and he had 3 kids with her, and then he had a wife in a neighboring apartment complex. We was all poor. But anyway, he was living with his baby mama, who was my neighbor, until their 3 kids grew up and moved out and graduated. Guess what he did when the youngest one graduated and turned 18 and moved?
He divorced. He left.
Yeah, he left and went right back. Guess where he went though?
He went to the chick.
Yeah, he went back home to his wife. He and his wife had another baby, and the baby mama is sitting there looking stupid. Like everybody knew that was coming. Like, and she used to get mad because my parents were like the only married parents in the housing projects. And she would like look at my dad, and my mom would be like, okay, they're married, one day, hoping. And my mom was like, no.
You ain't ready for this game. This is a game, but y'all not ready for this.
Yeah.
There's so much intricacies that y'all are not aware of. And if you, like I said before, if you haven't seen it, you don't understand it. And it's going to look foreign to you.
Mm-hmm. So then you go back and guess what happens? Since you brought up,
you listen to Steve Harvey. That's what.
But then do that in your early years and stop. You know what? There's been this great. There's been this thing I've seen girls on social media argue about women who, like myself, because I got married when I was in my early 20s, and I've been with the same guy, my entire adult life from college on up. And there are women out there that honestly see something wrong with that. Instead of, you meet somebody that you have good, you have the mutual connection, you have the mutual goals, and you're working for the same thing, you're compatible. So you stay in that relationship and you build upon it, and it goes to marriage. There are women that don't understand that, but rather than they want to play throughout their 20s, and then when they're 30, then they start looking to settle down. And I'm sorry, it doesn't work the same way for women that it does for men. Like he said, women have a biological clock that ticks, men don't. A man at 95 could get a 20-year-old pregnant if he was. That's
one of my goals in life.
A 95-year-old woman is not going to be able to get pregnant by nobody because she has no more eggs. The minute a girl starts her menstrual cycle at 11 or 12, you start losing your egg. As a matter of fact, by the time I think you have you lose so many million by the time you even. By the time you're 18, and then after that, you have by the time you're 30, I think you only have about 300,000 eggs left, and they drop from there. So if you want kids and husbands and all that stuff, you need to start thinking about that sooner and start working toward that sooner. Make that a goal. Stop listening to your bitter friends that, and the I don't need a man chicks, because those girls, what I found out is that they try to beat other women over the head with that. And what they're really doing is trying to weed out the competition. She wants you to not get with the dude that actually wants the wife and the kids and the little white picket fence in the suburbs, because she wants to pursue that man, thinking that he will want her if she can get him.
Does it have to be a white picket fence?
Not necessarily, but you
I like brick.
Well, yeah.
I like brick and metal. I like that.
Well, but same story, same thing though.
Yeah. We in trouble, folks. I told y'all, man. Y'all, love ain't cap. For y'all young people, I still don't know what cap mean, but whatever. Y'all gotta wake up. The next generations under us, they're giving us the finger right now.
Mm-hmm.
And at least Steve, his old buck dancing self, at least he admitted that the older generation screwed up. At least they did. But
and here's the thing that I've seen with these younger generation of women. They're all over the internet screaming at men that, they bought so much into that marriage is slavery for women thing that now it's, oh, well, I don't want to give a man I don't want to be a man's personal servant, and I don't want to be an incubator for his babies and blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but don't come hollering down the line when you're 40 and you realize that being alone sucks, that you want somebody now because it's too late.
Mm-hmm. And last thing, I don't like the fact that I got a bunch of chicks out here that are happy that people are getting divorces.
I see that on TikTok all the time. These divorce lawyers that are like championing, or they try to get in the heads of married women. They say, and especially stay-at-home housewives. I saw one that was on TikTok, and she was basically explaining all the reasons why stay-at-home housewives should buck her up and go get jobs. And it's always this fear of, oh, well, what if he leaves you, and who's going to take care of you, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, apparently you think people don't know that the statistics that say that career women get cheated on and divorced more than stay-at-home housewives. And the only thing she's doing is putting paranoia out there to get garter up clients, to line her own pockets. Like, you have to learn how to see through those things too. The divorce lawyer is not giving you any good advice regarding your marriage. They're not going to tell you to go to marriage counseling. They want you in divorce court because then they get paid.
That's scary. But then again, y'all strong and independent, so y'all strong. So
do you remember that video I sent you about the where the guy was telling people to stop calling their sons the man of the house at like 9?
Yes.
That's ultimately where that attitude leads to.
Yes, sir. So please talk about, before we go, please talk about Mama Jones.
Oh, Mama Jones, rapper Jim Jones' mother. What did he came out recently and admitted that his mother taught him how to kiss by kissing him. Like she was kissing her boyfriend, tongue and all. And yeah, if we want to talk about going back and getting the Jeffrey Epstein and all his people for child molestation, then go after Mama Jones too, because that's exactly what she was doing. That is a sign of something that is terribly wrong with a lot of our families, and I see it a lot. What people don't realize is that a broken family system produces something that there are 3 psychological terms for it. There's emotional incest, there's genetic sexual attraction, and there's Jocasta complex. Jocasta complex is, since most children from single parent homes live with their mother, it is that attraction that a mother develops for her own son as if he were her romantic partner in the absence of a male romantic partner. So then she starts to require things of him require things from her son that she would from a husband. And that includes, meeting her emotional needs. And that's where emotional incest comes from, where I don't have a man to meet my emotional needs because I'm single, but I do have this male child, so he can replace him. And you have these women that groom their sons to try to be better men than their fathers, when really what a lot of them are doing is grooming their sons to be better men than their fathers, to take the place of their fathers and be their mama's man. I saw a video where a black girl actually broke this down on TikTok, and she went off saying that one of the things we need to stop hiding in the black community is the toxic black mother who is emotionally interested in her own son because she raised him by herself to be not a good man for someone else, but to be the man that she couldn't keep. Well, that's where a lot of this leads to when you don't know, you date, not knowing what you want in a relationship, not knowing why you should be dating, not knowing the purpose of dating, when we don't believe in transitioning of stages from like single to dating to engaged to married. And then when we find ourselves later in life in our 30s and our 40s with children, but then no husband around, then you become confused. You're desperate for some kind of companionship, and then they just start pulling it from their children. And then the son goes up as he gets older, starts to entertain relationships, which is natural. Mother doesn't complete as this. It's almost like she forgets that she's his mother, and then she starts to become jealous and combative and want to work against his relationship to get her man back, basically. That is, I've seen that happen so many times, and that's one of those things that we need to deal with in our community if we're ever going to fix some of the problems that we have as a people. One of those things is not just talking about fixing the black family, but really understanding what the issues are and then dealing with those without ego, and each side taking responsibility for what they are not doing properly. And that includes us as black women, because we're so quick to be like, the men need to do this and blah, blah, blah. But then we don't fix our issues. And it's everybody's putting it out there, including other black women. Like, okay, this is not a one-sided issue.
Well said. Well said. So before we go, folks, Tiffany, you're going to hate me, but I got one more thing for you.
That's okay.
Okay. They're forcing me to do this divester video. They're forcing me to do it. Maybe before Black History Month, I will eviscerate them. But here's another example, folks, of love in all the wrong places. Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit B.
Black guy never will. They all call me racist. I am not racist. Yeah. I've only had white dicks to me, and that's how, like, they all call me racist. I am not racist just because I say black guys are ugly and ghetto. That doesn't make me racist. It's personal preference. You know what I mean?
Is there anybody here that wants to reject this trade of this lady going to the other side? No, sis. You free to go. Trust us. We just go.
I date who I want to date. I hate when black guys try to hit on me. I hate when Mexican guys try to hit on me. No! Hot, sexy white guys only. Right, Patrick?
Yeah, I like that.
Good. Nathan, have you ever hooked up with a black girl?
I have.
Oh, he said he has. Actually,
darker than me, the sweeter the juice.
What? And actually, Patrick, I've never dated a black.
So let's
finish it out right there, don't even realize it.
For those who heard that on the audio, you got to see the mop she done got from the Dollar Tree that she put on top of her head. I mean, that was it. I didn't even know they're making it in that color. Number one. Number two, for you to run your mouth, and she said the trigger words for me that made me perk up. She said personal preference. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know, even white people know, black men on this planet cannot have a personal preference. We know this. Our personal preference gets excoriated every time we utter these words. But this is a growing thing that I've heard, and this is why I mentioned Fresh and Misfit beforehand. Because they're in trouble right now for talking about their personal preference and downing black women. I love black women. I do. But y'all need to educate yourselves on this thing called accountability and cooperation. That will get you a man. All day, every day. It's not you. Because it is you. No, I'll be fucking. No, but let's get serious. Now, our title is Standards of Marriage. There are standards. Number one, accountability. Number two, communication. Number three, cooperation. Number four, a willingness to admit that you don't know everything. Number five, you better. Both parties know how to change a flat tire, because the other person will not always be there to help you. So you better know how to change a flat tire. Number six, both people should have basic knowledge of how to balance a budget and do basic finances. Even if you put all your bills on auto pay, you black men especially, you should know how to do that. Auto pay everything and watch your statements. Number seven, this is for the fellas. If you're gonna look at a female, develop a look where you're still looking straight, but you're not looking. Because if a female catch you looking, you're gonna be on that couch. But that's just for the fellas. Number 8, this is for y'all females. If you're gonna look at a man and you in the grocery store, take a jar of tomato sauce. It only works with tomato sauce. Act like you're looking at the ingredients and you spin around 270 degrees. Look at this man and then be like, it's got too much salt, and put it back. And then move on. Now, if you're going to go talk to him, then, you go talk to him. But if you're not, and you were just trying to get your rocks off a little bit, just do that. I'm trying to help y'all out, keep y'all marriage sane. Number 9, and I can't stress this enough. This should have been number 1. When you're in a marriage and there's kids, it ain't about your significant other no more. It's about them kids. But you should always keep your significant other happy. Mm-hmm. Always gotta keep them happy. So, ladies, if you was a freak when this man met you, you better still be a freak when you there. Don't give me no energy crap. I don't want to hear none of that. Cause y'all keep saying a happy wife, happy life. If you don't keep showing your butt, I'm gonna go give another lady my nut. I'm going to hell for that one.
You are.
And number 10. I gotta put the questions over. I gotta put them over. I'm going to admit something to you, Tiffany, and I can't believe I'm about to admit this, but I am on this journey looking for the higher power, and I have been, I guess, more spiritual nowadays. So
that's good.
Look into yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Please look into yourselves. We're all fallible creatures. Everybody. We're all not perfect. There's no such thing as imperfect perfection. So I think a lot of us as Black people think that we can be imperfectly perfect. We are not Cell from DBZ, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? He was flawed as well. We're not perfect beings. So we have to understand that there are going to be things that we have that we consider defense mechanisms that other people are going to view as you maybe a little screwed up. So therapy, please, if before you get into a relationship, if you need to, please go see therapy. Go talk to somebody. Don't talk to your homegirl. She's probably bitter.
Yes.
And if you do talk to your married homegirl, do not talk to her with her man in the house. Please don't do that. Because you will get attracted to that man, and I do not, even though that'd be kind of hot, I don't want to see y'all fighting going down the stairs. I don't want to see that, but it'd be kind of hot, especially if y'all clothes come off. And, Okay, but I'm sorry, Tiffany. Please end off the show.
Okay. Going back through the standards, definitely the one thing I wanted to focus on is continuing to pour into your spouse and meet his or her needs. We had that in America at a high rate of about 95% with the marriage rate in the 1950s and 60s, and it was under a marriage stage called the companionate marriage. We have since evolved from that into the individualized marriage, and what it has done, the evolution of marriage has not done us very much good. It has resulted in selfishness and in self-centeredness and an attitude that you really cannot have within a marriage. It has been the cause for inflated egos and hurt feelings and animosity among people who once loved one another, where there shouldn't be. Now, back in the 1950s, 1960s, we had the companionate marriage, which was when husbands and wives entered into a marriage with the understanding that it was their duty to meet the needs of their spouse and to be a friend and a companion and to that person, and to be, they were to help one another. They were supposed to set one mutual goal for that family, and each day there was a process of working to meet that goal. What we need to do is get back to that, because until we do, we're going to continue to see what we have, especially with us women, where we're racing against the biological clock to find somebody, and then we're coming up short because we're choosing all the wrong people out of desperation just to have anyone. Know what you want, but be realistic about it. But at the same time, know what it is that you have that would contribute something to someone else's life to help better that person's life. Enter into a relationship with the understanding that as a partner in a relationship, and especially if you want a marriage, it is your duty to help make that person's life a little easier. Stop getting in these relationships and bragging about being a headache to a man and how much problems you can give him, and bragging about how crazy you are and bragging on your attitude, because those are the things that are keeping you single and keeping you in the place where you cannot and will not grow with someone, and ensuring that you're going to die alone. Even if you have children, your children are eventually going to grow up and leave you, which is the natural progression of things. Take some time, understand what you want, understand what you have to bring to the table, work on you, like Kid said, because no two people are perfect, but self-improvement is always something that any of us can benefit from. And make smart choices in those people that you're dealing with. And that's
Yes,
not all
ma'am.
I say, because
Yes, ma'am.
too many of us are not.
Yeah. Black love. It's beautiful but complicated.
And it's becoming rarer and rarer because as people a lot of Black people are getting tired of fishing through and fighting.
Fishing or catfishing?
Well, catfish, a little bit of both, through our community to looking for something that they feel like they're not going to find with another Black person, and they're going and they're dating and marrying out. But we can build the Black family back, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Yes. That was a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. Sometimes fun. But yes. Love. They say it don't cost a thing. It costs a lot, folks.
Mm-hmm.
But let's end off the show here because I have to go do an ether of Rihanna real fast.
Oh, goodness. What did Rihanna do?
Yesterday, she put up a picture from Martin Luther King Day with him having gold teeth as her cover photo. And I wasn't going to touch her, but I'm going to have to touch her. The Caribbeans are out of control, folks. My people, my sector is out of control. This is why I really don't vibe with them a lot, because a lot of them are off code. But we're not off code when we talk about Black love, folks, because we're both people that are in marriages, and Rihanna could learn a thing or two from us. But we're going to end off the show. So, Tiffany, again, thank you so much for coming. Just let everybody know about your businesses again and your 1,800 books. and we're gonna get up out of here.
Okay, so for anybody who wants to purchase a copy of either of my books, the titles are Do You Know Who You Are and Seat of My Father. You can find both of those on Amazon.com. And anyone interested in making a purchase from my business of scented candles or incense, visit www.tiffysense.com. Thank you for your support. Thank you for having me, kid. Have a beautiful evening.
I plan to, after I give Rihanna this word, but I'm just going to be nice real quick, put that in the comments section so people could see it and they can't accuse me of not putting it up in there. I think that's right. I hope so. Okay, cool. We're going to leave that there. And y'all know how I give it up. Kid Gravity Beyond on Instagram, also Beyond Borders Podcast, and also here, YouTube, Kid Gravity Beyond. I'm over there on Twitch, Kid Gravity 23. I'm on that cesspool called Twitter at Chef Boy RD, but I think I'm probably going to change the name soon, put it to Kid Gravity Beyond so everybody knows that's me. But if I don't, it's still Chef Boy RD. And yeah, so everyone take care, stay safe. The little gnome said you got to put that face panty back on to get your supplies. So just go ahead and do that. And just remember, we know it's tough out here, folks. It's hard out here for a pimp, and it's also hard out there for pimpsters. But love is out there for you. You just gonna have to get on your knees and